2 turnovers, the other big number for Atlanta. 16 made threes on just 27 attempts, and they take a 2-1 series lead. Welcome in, everybody. It's Ryan Hollins. It's Carlos Boozer right there. I'm Matt Weiner. It's Playoff Central Live presented by State Farm here on a Friday night. We'll get into the Knicks offense in a moment, but first of all, one of the best defensive teams in the league just didn't have any answers for what the Hawks were doing offensively. Yeah,
I mean, it starts with Trae Young. He was able to get anywhere he wanted to get on the floor, get his guys involved. You know, as a big man, I love seeing a point guard that can pass the ball, chopping everybody up, scoring whenever he wanted to. I thought Tibbs did a good job of trying to double him, get the ball out of his hands. But his guys were ready. Collins had a good game. Capella had another double-double. They had 7 guys in double figures. Trae Young doing a little bit of everything.
No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, hats off to Coach Tibbs. They've been excellent defensively all year long. And you know what, Booz, when you played for Tibbs, you guys played a lot of drop coverage, which means the big would play in between the guard and his man. Clint Capella's a dynamic roller. You know, Trae Young is a guy who can play make getting to the rim. So, you know, when you open the floor up with shooters, they're picking that coverage apart. So, you know, he may want to look at a hard show, possibly switching the coverage. I know they had the versatility there in New York, but you got to change some things up because Trae Young is absolutely having a field day with that coverage.
Yeah, whatever it is, once he turns that corner, you're dead, right? Because he's got the floater and he's got lob targets on the other side. So either way, you don't win if you're the Knicks once he gets around the pick.
Yeah, no, you don't. And what's tough is that he's living in the lane all night long. You know, you would compare him at a young, smaller guard. You'd think that smaller guards don't like to get in the paint. Trae Young likes to get in the paint. So he's got a certain patience. Well, he'll put the guard on his hip. He'll get there, and he's making the right decisions. So he's beating your coverage. And, Booz, you know it. You got more playoff experience than me. You know, it's a chess match. It's a game of adjustment. So I know Tibbs is going to come with something different next game.
Yeah, he'll have to. And then also offensively, they got to find a way to get Randall going. He's struggling a little bit. You mentioned
a little bit.
That length going 2 for 15. Like the Knicks are.
I think a little bit is kind.
Yeah.
At this point.
Kind of my young rook right there. He's not a rook anymore, but he's had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
That length is really bothering him. 2 for 15.
Series, that's 24% for clearly their most important player and the league's most improved player this season.
No, you said it right, Booz. The length is absolutely bothering him. You know, Collins, Capella, and then you come off the bench with Gallinari. You know, those are 3-4 long defenders that they can throw at him. But the one thing Julius Randle's going to have to do, he's going to have to play through Derrick Rose. I'm looking for a little 1 or 2 man game where, you know, he's great in isolation, but if you get him a standstill 3, you get him to the free throw line, that's where he's going to have success. So, you know, you were a big body, Booz. You did that. When you get to the free throw line, it just gets you going as a scorer. And he hasn't had those opportunities yet.
What can they do to get some sort of offense going? This game was basically won by the Hawks in the second quarter. They went on a 22-3 run. That put them up by 16. And at that point, at least for me, it appeared that there was no way the Knicks could score enough to ever catch up.
Yeah, that's how it felt. It felt like one of those games where the Hawks literally took control of the game in the third quarter. Trae Young was finding everybody, even the second quarter, finding everybody. They had the momentum going. The fans were rocking. Guys were knocking down shots. You know, when you see the ball go in the hole as a scorer, your confidence goes through the roof, and you see shot after shot. 7 guys in double figures. Everybody feeling confident out there. It didn't really matter what they did defensively because Trae Young, to Ryan's point, is making the right decisions on that pick and roll, finding whoever's open. If he's got the shot, he takes it. If someone else is open, he finds him, hits him on time, on target. You see them with the jump shot right there. Trae Young is doing a phenomenal job of just setting his team up to put them in position to win games, and now they're up 2-1.
You know, through 3 games now, the only game the Knicks have won was one in which they both shot under 40%. It was the ugly game, too. It begs the question, can the Knicks win games in this series if they're not holding the Hawks to those kinds of percentages, if the Hawks are shooting their averages?
I don't think they can. You know, that's Knicks basketball right now. But, you know, from a defensive aspect for the Knicks, you can't give up everything. Yes, they took away Trae Young's 3-ball, but Trae Young is good enough. He got floater, he got lob, and he got kick out. So you got to take something away. So, you know, it's possibly playing a little more Nerlens Noel or sitting the big in the back and saying, hey, man, he's going to have to hit us with, you know, 10 or 20, you know, floaters tonight. And I think on the offensive end for New York, you got to play through Derrick Rose. I thought he was masterful in his minutes. He was excellent when he got in the lane. Nerlens Noel is a bit of a dynamic roller. You're playing Taj Gibson, who can roll also. But I think the same way they're playing through Trae Young, you got to play through D. Rose. He's playing too excellent right now.
And on a night when the Hawks hit 16 of 27 from three-point range, which is not their MO, they're not an elite three-point shooting team, the way the Knicks are struggling on the other end of the floor offensively, they have almost no chance to win.
Yeah, well, that's your point, Matt. Great point. Once they got down by so much, you think, can they really score enough to get back in this game? And tonight just wasn't their night.
All right, let's take a look at the Hawks shot chart tonight, presented by Mountain Dew. And it was a good one if you're an Atlanta fan. And there are a fair number of those in the building, by the way. We are in Atlanta. 16 of 27. That's not really sustainable.
That's lights out.
But if you're Nate McMillan, you'll take it.
But you know what, Matt? Those are standstill threes. It's not like these guys are hitting contested threes off the bounce. And Trae Young, hats off to him. He's accepting the coverage. They're forcing him to the rim. You know, he's a smaller guard. They want him to play over the length of the Knicks. And he's getting in the lane. He's shooting that floater. And when he kicks out, you know, it's not like these guys are doing a whole lot of creating. So, you know, between Bogdanovich, Gallinari, all those guys on the wings for Atlanta, even Collins poured in a couple threes. Yep. They're really taking advantage of the situation. And Trae Young's doing a good job fighting. I mean, Booz, you saw that left-hand skip pass? That's tough.
I'm just impressed with his poise. He's a young, a rising star in this league, and he's playing in his third playoff game. And the poise that he has against one of the top defensive teams. We all know how Tibbs gets down. His teams are going to be predicated on defense, and he's really chopping this team up right now.
Hawks had 7 different players knock down at least 1 3, including Danilo Gallinari, who had all 4 of his, and Kevin Huerter, who knocked down 3 off the bench as well. Hawks win at 105-94. And they'll take a 2-1 lead with Game 4 coming up back here in Atlanta on Sunday. Waiting on the coaches and, of course, the stars of this game as well for post-game coverage. From the Knicks' point of view, is it more important? I guess, you know, both sides are important. Is it more important for them that they find some way of generating more consistent offense or better coverage against Trae Young, and particularly that pick and roll?
It's got to be the defense because this is their MO. That's what New York has hung their hat on, you know, all season long. You know, look over at the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, that game when they got 8 up by 50 balls in defense. That Lakers team defends. This New York Knicks team defends. When they defend, then the offense gets going. Then they're getting some easy buckets in transition. And for a team that struggles on the offensive end, you got to take advantage of those easy buckets. But if you're taking the ball out the net all night long, man, you can't do anything, Booz.
No, well said. That's exactly what Tibbs. Listen, I played for Coach Tibbs in Chicago. Tibbs is going to be at the office all night long, all day tomorrow, trying to figure out a remedy to slow down Trae Young and slow down the Hawks offense. And he'll figure out something, maybe put a different lineup change in there. Do a little, because like to your point, if they get out in transition, then they get the easy layups, the easy buckets, and now we got a ball game. But when you get down by 15, 16, 17, and the Hawks are scoring consistently, very hard for this Knicks team to catch up. Knicks
had exactly 0 fast break points tonight in this loss here in Atlanta. Let's hear from Nate McMillan. His Hawks now up 2-1.
Hey, Nate, what have you thought of Trae's ability to break down the Knicks defense and everything they've thrown at him through 3 games?
Well, I mean, Trae has been doing that all season long. You know, his ability to create offense, not only for himself, but for his teammates. You know, he's pretty much first option on a lot of our sets. I thought he did a nice job tonight. You know, not only creating opportunities and forcing their defense to collapse, but he kicked the ball out tonight. And we made some shots. You know, he's been doing that all series long. We haven't made shots. Tonight, we was able to make some shots.
I wanted to ask you also about his playmaking. When he has the ability to make those passes with either hand, in what ways would you say makes everybody's life easier who's on the court with him at the same time?
Well, I think it just, I mean, when you have shooters on the floor, as we do, Trae is able to, you know, do things with both hands. He's able to pass with both hands. He doesn't really have a weakness. You know, you can force him left. He can go left. He can go right. You know, he can shoot the jump shot. He can attack the basket. He shoots free throws. You know, so he really doesn't have a weakness. And, you know, he just takes what the defense gives him. And he's doing a good job of finding the open man when the defense collapses in the paint. And when they don't, he is attacking and, you know, finishing at the rim.
Sarah Spencer. Hey, Nate, just how key was that second quarter? And is that when you started to see the guys kind of settle in and settle down a little bit?
I thought we did. I love our energy coming out, but I thought we we needed to, calm down just a little bit. We gave up 13 free throws in that first quarter. I thought we settled down in that second quarter, started to play basketball and, defend without fouling and not allow those guys to get to the free throw line. We did a pretty decent job of forcing them to miss, but we still gave up some offensive rebounds in that first half. Second half, we did a better job of finishing the defensive end of the floor with rebounding.
How good was it to see John rebound with his performance tonight?
Well, he did. I thought he did a really nice job, on Randall and guarding him. He was in foul trouble our last game. He picked up 2 fouls early in the first quarter, but then he settled down and did just a solid job of just keeping the ball in front and being able to stay out on the floor. He's an important part of what we like to do on both ends of the floor, and I thought he responded with a solid game tonight.
That fine.
Hey Nate, have you ever been involved in a game where you win by double digits, yet the other team shoots nearly 4 times as many free throws and without trying to get you fined?